And now, welcome to Seven Questions with Emmy.
Hey guys, welcome back to Seven Questions with Emmy. 23 years ago this summer, Elizabeth Smart was kidnapped from her home and held captive for 9 months. Since her miraculous rescue, she has inspired people all around the world with her survival story. I'm so honored to be chatting with Elizabeth today, so thank you so much for talking with me.
Yeah, thanks for having me on your show.
Yes, of course. So it's been over 20 years since you were kidnapped from your home. When you were like gone, and how did you remain hopeful?
It was hard. It was really hard. There were a lot of times where I genuinely did not know if I would survive or if the only way to survive was by outliving my captors. But I think really what helped me the very most was that I always believed that my parents would love me no matter what. And if they loved me, even if nobody else loved me, that would be worth surviving for. And so that's how I stayed hopeful, was believing in my parents' love for me.
That's really inspiring. Over the past few years, you've been involved in a lot of cool causes. And can you tell me about the Elizabeth Smart Foundation?
Yes, absolutely. So after I was rescued, one of the things that I felt the most embarrassment and shame around was the sexual abuse that I experienced. And I thought I was the only one who had ever been raped. And I felt so like I didn't want to talk about it. And I didn't hear anybody else talking about it either. I didn't hear anybody else admitting that they were survivors of sexual abuse. And as time went on, and I began to do more things in the world, I began to meet other survivors. And they started sharing their stories with me. And I soon realized that I actually was not the only survivor, and that I was not the only person who had been sexually abused. But I still felt like there was so much shame and embarrassment around sexual violence. And I wanted to change that because it is never the victim's fault. And yet, so many of us carry feelings of guilt, like somehow it was our fault that we didn't do everything we could to protect ourselves. And so I started the Elizabeth Smart Foundation to combat sexual exploitation and violence.
That's really inspiring and really good, you know? You're just like bringing awareness. Um, what do you like the best about being a mom?
Yeah, I I love, I mean, there isn't, I think I just learned, like, I always thought I knew what love was because I always felt loved by my parents. But then I went and had my own kids, and I just realized there isn't anything in this world that they could ever do that would make me stop loving them. There isn't anything that I wouldn't do for them. That they are my world. And so I thing I like about being the mom the most is just like the sheer magnitude of love it taught me,
That's so
or it
fun.
still teaches me.
Yeah. When someone that we love experiences something traumatic, do you have any suggestions on like what to say to them?
I think the first thing is just to be there for them. Don't disappear. I mean, whether it's someone passing away or it's um, kidnapping or abuse in some form. These are big, heavy topics, and I think it's easy to think, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know how to help. And to kind of be nervous about ever talking about it or approaching the subject. But I would say, first thing is let them know that you love them, let them know that you're there for them. And if they want to talk about it, you are happy to listen to them. I would also say you shouldn't ask questions like, why didn't you do this or why didn't you do that? Because the person who is struggling has already been through something really hard. And I think it's just a natural reaction for the person being asked the question, why didn't you? That starts with those words, why didn't you? Instead of hearing the curiosity, they hear, you should have. You should have done more. You should have done this. You should have done that. So I would say, please don't. Please don't start any questions with the words, why didn't you? Just let them know you're there for them and that you love them.
A lot of girls that are my age struggle with anxiety or depression. Do you have any ways, like any suggestions to cope on those?
Um, so I feel like the best thing to do is to just make healthy practices part of your life. So I mean, for me, like I love being outside, I love being out in nature. And so trying to get outside at least once a day helps me. Making sure that if I'm doing something stressful, then I have like my I don't know if this is the right way to say it, but like my deregulation routine. Like if something's happened and I'm feeling really anxious about it, that there's something I can just like automatically go to that helps to relax me. So maybe it's like reading a book, or it's listening to music, or it's going for a walk, or it's calling a friend. Just so those kinds of things when you feel anxiety or struggling coming on that you can turn to, and then also just like incorporating healthy practices every day.
Yeah, that's really good advice. You just have so much good advice for everyone.
I
Um,
don't know about that. I feel like I'm still learning.
what are some activities that you and your family like to do?
So I mean, we live in a small little mountain town. So in the winter, we all love to go skiing together. And then in the summer, we love to go boating and wake surfing together.
That's so fun. Do you have a piece of advice that you can share with me or our audience?
I know everybody has a story and we all experience really hard things in life. And I think it's really easy to fall into the road of like, why am I having such a hard time? Other people go through this all the time. Like, why can't I just move forward? Why can't I just do that? And I think that's very damaging because at the end of the day, you can never like accurately compare yourself to anybody else because we're all so different. So you should never sit there and think, well, Elizabeth Smart went through 9 months of kidnapping. She seems totally fine, or she seems this, or she seems that. Why can't I be the same way? Like, why did I go through something and it doesn't seem nearly as bad, but yeah, I'm still struggling? That is a disservice to yourself. At the end of the day, pain is pain, and you shouldn't be comparing yourself because we're all so different. And so, like, acknowledge your own pain, but don't give up. Like, don't let it hold you back. Don't let it ruin your life. Take time to be happy. Take time to enjoy life, to do things you enjoy, to do things you love. And if you weren't fortunate enough to be born into a family that loves you, find your family. And whether that is teachers or friends or uh, just people in your neighbors, community members, therapists, find your family because everybody needs a family.
Thank you so much for talking with me today.
Mhm. Of course. Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much for watching. Remember, new 7 questions interviews are posted every Thursday. Be sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Love you guys. Bye!